Hi, I'm Johnny and you're watching a Hexy Beast. And on today's episode I got something a little bit special for you. I'm going to be doing a preview of the prototype version of this game right here, Senjutsu by Stone Sword Games. I just want to say before we start I was provided with this preview copy and that it is a prototype, so the components and the art are subject to change before release. Anyway, with that out of the way, let's just get on with the preview, shall we? The centuries-old authority of the Ashikaga shogunate has collapsed, casting feudal Japan into a brutal civil war. Clan has turned upon clan as daimyos. Local liege lords struggle to accumulate power and prestige. Each player controls a samurai, a skilled warrior pledged to the service of a daimyo and their clan. Their duty is to defeat any enemy that threatens their lord's ambitions and take their head for his pleasure. Blood will be spilt and great warriors will fall in this battle for Japan. So anyway, I'm just going to go and show you how this game sets up and plays. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the board and we're going to place it so we have one starting space on my side and one starting space on my opponent's side. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these stun cards, place them face up by here. I'm going to take these wound cards and place them by here, and I'm also going to take these bleeding wound cards and place them by here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to choose my opponent, and my opponent today is going to be Taira Hero Toki, and basically, as you can see, it says here that he has solo deck cards 1 to 15, which I've got right here. He has a starting advantage of 9 and a wound limit of 5. I'll explain that in a second. So first I'm just going to take these character cards and the solo deck and place them by here. As well as that, I'm also going to take these stun cards that have the same back as the solo AI deck and place them by here, as he will be acquiring these throughout the game. As well as that, I'm also going to take this advantage card and place it nearby, as we'll be using this throughout the game as well. Okay, so next I'm going to choose my character, and I've chosen to go with Yuki Ogimaru. And as you can see, he also has a kame track, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this circular marker and I'm going to place it on the starting space of the kame track. Okay, so next we're going to sort out the starting advantage, which in this case is a 9, and in this case is a 5. So because of that, I've placed the yellow token lower than the blue token on the advantage card. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my starting deck of cards that I constructed based on this starting card deck card that's in the game. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these samurai cards, and it's going to go straight into my hand, as it doesn't actually count towards hand size, but it is just a card that we can use whenever we need it to. So we'll keep that handy. I'll put it by here, but usually it would be in the hand. Okay, next I'm going to take the mini for Yuki and place him in my starting space, which in this case is going to be by here with his arrow pointing forward on the front. And then we're going to take the old Taira piece here, and we're also going to look at his arrow on the front, and we're going to place him facing towards us on the other starting space. Okay, at this point we're basically just going to draw up to our hand size, and then we're ready to start the game. So in this case it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And also don't forget, we also take this samurai card here into our hand as well. Okay, so games of Senjutsu are played in rounds, and the first phase of any round is to draw a card, so I'm going to do that now. Then, in the second phase, we basically have to choose one card from our hand to play face down onto the field, and then the bot will also do the same. So I think in this situation, looking at where I am, as you can see, we have certain icons on the card. So anything in solid black is something that we have to do, but anything in hollowed out white is basically something that we can choose to do. So I think actually, because of our position on the board, that we're quite far away from our opponent, I think my best option this turn would be to play this taunt card face down. Okay, so basically the way cards work is they each have an initiative number in this corner. And once I play this face down, the opponent is also going to place a card, and then everything will activate in an order based on these numbers from highest to lowest. So let's place our taunt card and see what the first action from the opponent is going to be. So we take this solo card and we flip it over. So now that we've done the draw phase, it's time to see how this happens. And looking at how things are, it basically means that I'm going to be able to taunt first, and then my opponent would have to return to their starting space on the kame. But in this case, the opponent doesn't have a kame, so that's kind of irrelevant. Okay, so I'm activating first, and basically this means I have to move one in any direction. Then I may choose to move an extra one. As well as that, then I can rotate once. So let's do that now. So in this case, I'm actually going to choose to move 1 in this direction. Then I'm going to move 1 forward, and then I'm going to rotate once to the right. Then what we're going to do, if we look here, because he is 2 plus hexes away, if you look at this card, it'll tell you how to activate the enemy. If he's 2 plus hexes away, he will move 2 spaces in any direction and then rotate twice. So let's do that now. He's going to move 2 spaces towards us. And if we look at this solo card here, it actually says he will always rotate the face of the player, move towards the player's front, and move towards the player's back via the left side. So he now has to rotate up to twice, but he's only going to choose to rotate once, and he's going to face this way. So now both of these cards get discarded. So this one goes into my discard pile, and this one goes into the bot's discard pile. And then we move on to the discard phase, which we have to be sure that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that we don't exceed our hand size. But remember, this samurai doesn't actually count, so right now we don't exceed it at all. Anyway, let's move on to the next round. Okay, so the same as last round, we start by drawing a card. Let's see what we get. Okay, in this case, we have something that has a variable initiative. This basically means that we can play it as any number between 2 and 7. You may notice this is a defense card. And as you can see, this little arrow here shows the direction of our units facing. And then we also have these shield icons, which basically means we would block attacks from these 2 spaces relative to our player's position. This star also means there may be a special effect, which in this case, if we was in the green camo, would be an extra defense icon at the front of us. So anyway, now that we've drawn this, let's just get back on with playing a card for our next turn. Okay, so looking at my current position, I think what might actually be best is to play the circling defense card, which I'm going to do now. So I'm going to play that there, and then the opponent is going to draw their card. And as you can see, ooh, he's 2 X's away, 2 plus actually, which means he's actually going to perform this bottom action instead. He's going to move in one of 3 directions, and then he's going to attack for 2 wounds straight in front of him. Because as you can see, in this case, we actually have 2 exclamation points, which means if he hits, he's going to cause 2 wounds. So he's going to move here, but we are out of range right now. Normally, we may have been able to defend this, but in this case, he actually has an initiative value that is outside of our range. But now we get to activate our card, which there's nothing to block, so we're going on to this section. And that means that we have to move 1 space to the side and rotate once. So what I'm going to do is I am actually going to choose to move here and then rotate that way. And then I can also optionally move again and rotate again. And in this case, I'm actually going to go here and rotate again. Okay, so we're back to drawing again. And in this case, we have a dash down strike of our own. Oh, nice. So let's have a look what we're going to do this turn. I think I might actually take this one, as it means I might be able to injure our friend here. And it is a 6 though, so there's a risk he might have something faster. So let's just play this. Okay, now we're going to reveal what the AI is going to do. And if we look here, he is actually up to 2 hexes away. So he's got a 5 and I've got a 6, which means I get to go first. So first of all, I am going to take my mandatory movement in this direction. Then, as you can see here, I have to attack for 2 wounds. So basically how this works now is I'm going to take 2 of these wounds cards and place them next to my opponent. Once he hits 5, he has died basically. This is detailed on his card here. As you can see, they all have a wound limit. This one's wound limit is 5, so if he ever gets 5 wounds, he is going to lose. So now he is going to activate his 5 initiative, which is to rotate 1, move 1 to my left, and then he is going to attack straight ahead for a bleeding wound, but there's nothing in this position. Okay, on to the next round. I'm going to draw a card. Let's see what we got. Okay, we got this Pommel Smash, which, because we're in the yellow camo, will actually also make our opponent discard a card, as well as stun them if we can hit them. I'm already facing them, but it is only a 5, so it's quite likely that we're either going to get hit first, or he's going to move out of the way. But I'm going to play this card anyway, so we're going to play Pommel Smash. And our enemy is going to play Wild Block. Okay, so he has a range of 9 to 3, which means he's probably almost definitely going to block our attack. So we would activate first. Okay, so as you can see, Pommel Smash is actually going to hit in this location, so it's actually going to miss entirely. And he's just a block, so this basically is just going to get discarded, and we're going to move on to the next round. Okay, same as before, we're on to the discard phase, and we have 5 cards in our hand, plus our samurai card. So we're now just going to draw a card and get on with the next round. Let's see what we got. Okay, we've got Wild Swing. We're not in a position to actually hit. So I think our best bet right now would probably be to take this Swift Mind and use it to give us some distance between us and our opponent. We're also in the yellow kami, so I'd be able to change the kami, and after that I also get to draw 2 cards. So let's see how this works. So I'm going to play Swift Mind. Okay, so looking at what we've pulled, he is 1 hex away, so he's going to have 6 to 2, and I am on a 9. So this means I basically get to move 2 and rotate 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move 1, 2, and rotate once in this direction. Then, also, I get to draw up to 2 cards and change my kami by 1 space. So I'm going to draw these 2 cards. And I'm going to leave my kami where it is. Okay, so this guy is going to turn 1 space towards us, and he also has a mandatory backwards movement, so he's going to go this way. Okay, so now we're back to the discard phase, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to have to discard 2 cards. I think the cards I'm going to discard are probably going to be this Deep Meditation and this Calm Composure. Also may notice that these little icons here, this little lightning bolt icon means it's an instant and can be played with another card. And because it has a plus, it can be played as well as another card. There's also some cards that can be played on top of each other. But we're just going to discard this because we need to be down to a hand size of 5. So let's just discard these 2. Then move on to the next round. So we're going to draw a card. Let's see what we got. Okay. So let's have a look. How are we going to hurt? How are we going to hurt him? We're miles away, to be honest, so I think movement might be our best option. So I am just going to be using this Field Bandages card, even though it only has an initiative of 1. But it does mean we can remove stuns or replace bleeding wounds with a wound. We have no wounds right now, so this part of the card isn't really going to help us much. But this part will hopefully get us closer to our opponent. So let's play that. Okay, so our opponent, oof, this isn't good. He's 2 plus X's away. So he's actually going to move 2 spaces towards us and rotate 1. Which is going to allow him to go boop, boop, boop. And he's now directly facing us. And then we're going to activate our Field Bandages, which is going to allow us to move 1 away and then rotate to face him. Also, as a second part of our card, as I showed you before, we could remove stun or wounds or bleeding wounds, but we are in the yellow kami, so we are going to draw 1 card. Okay, same as before, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we need to discard 1 card down. I'm going to choose to discard the Staggering Blow card, so we're just going to put that there. And then we're going to draw up and start our next round, so let's see what we got this time. Okay, what we really need to do is move 1 forward and hit him, unless he's going to move 1 space towards us. Okay, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to actually try and play this Pommel Smash in the hopes that he moves 1 space towards us so I can actually get a hit in on him. So let's do that now. So let's see what our opponent's doing. Okay, so he's obviously, he is 2 hexes away, and he has got a lower initiative than me in this point, so I am actually going to end up swinging in this random direction, which is going to be by here, and I'm going to miss. And then on his turn, he is actually going to forcibly move 2, 2, because he has to move left. And then he's going to rotate once to face towards us. Okay, so that's on to the next round. So we draw up, and let's see what we've got. Okay. Is there anything? Oh, this might be handy. Yeah, so I'm going to play Wild Swing this time in the hopes that I can actually hit him. Yeah, for 2 wounds as well, no less. Okay, so let's play this and see what he does. Okay, so now our opponent. Oh, what's the chances? He is actually going to, because he's got 9 to 5 and he's 1 hex away, he's actually going to go first. And what he's going to do is he's going to move backwards 1 space and put himself ahead on the advantage track, which he already is. So he's just going to go boop. And then my attack is going to miss. And then I get to discard 1 card and I have to return my kami to its starting space. Okay, so out of all the cards I've got, the one I've chosen to discard in this case is Firm Mind. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so that brings us on to the end of the round. So same as before, we check our hand size, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're fine. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go on to the next round and draw a card, see what we get. Okay, so looking at our hand, we need to get a bit closer really, don't we? And I think the best way for us to do this might actually be with this Firm Mind card, and I'm going to play that, so let's do that now. Okay, so now we're going to draw this card, and He is up to 2 hexes away. 1, 2. Yep, so that's fine. He is actually going to forcibly move in this direction. Then he is going to rotate 1 and try and hit us with this. But we are out of range. Then it is our turn. So with firm mind, it allows us to move 2 and rotate 2. These are both optional as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move 1, 2, and only rotate 1 to face him. Hopefully putting us in a good position to attack next turn. Okay, same as before, check our hand size, we're fine. So let's move on to the next round and draw our next card. Okay, let's have a look what we got. We got Severing Cut, which is 5. Would cause a bleeding wound though. Okay. I actually think that I might use this dash down strike. It's choices, you see, because if he does move out of the way, this attack's going to miss. Choices. Yeah, so what? I'm just going to do it. So we're going to play this dash down strike. And then our opponent is going to play horizontal cut. And as you can see, he's 1 hex away, but he has the initiative over here, look. So he's actually going to get to activate first. So he is going to optionally rotate 1, and he is going to be forced to move forward 1 in that direction. So he's optionally going to go this, and then he's going to go around the left side, so he's actually going to go this way. Then he's going to hit us for 1 wound. Ouch. So we have just taken our first wound. Now we're going to activate dash down strike, which means I'm going to have to move into this direction. And then if I was in the green camera, I could have rotated 1, but because I'm not, it's just going to go straight into the attack. The attack is actually going to hit in this space by here, so it's going to miss entirely. But we are going to switch to the yellow camo. Just like so. Okay, so hand size is at 5. We're going to draw our next card to start the next round. Got a lunging thrust. This actually might be very useful for us. Okay, looking at what we've got here. You know what? What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to play one of these Severing Cut cards, because if he moves in front of me, I might be able to rotate and get an attack on him. So we're going to do that, and then the opponent is actually going to do... Ooh, typical. Okay, so he's got quick strike, so he's going to rotate to face us, and then he's going to hit us for 1 wound, so we're going to take 1 wound. That gives us 2 wounds now. We're actually getting closer to losing. And then for our attack, we are going to, because we're in the yellow cami as well, this actually might be very good for us. We are going to be able to rotate 1 towards him, which we are now facing. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually inflict a bleeding wound on him. Let's have a look at what the difference between a bleeding wound and a wound is. A wound is just normal wound. So we're going to draw it in front of place. It'll count as 1 wound, but at the start of each of the turns then, he's going to be discarding 1 of his cards. Okay, so that brings our current score to 3-2 to me. Okay, so we've got 4 cards in our hand, which means we don't have to discard down, and we're going to draw up. So, at the start of our next turn, we have... Oh, we got Quick Stab. This is good. This is good. I'm going to play this card. And the opponent is going to play... Oh, 2 Quick Stabs. Okay, he's got advantage. So he is actually going to stab me first. So we are now directly facing each other. So he's going to hit me for 1 wound, putting us on 3-0. And then I'm going to hit him for another wound, putting us at 3-4 with us ahead. Okay, I think you've basically seen about as much of the gameplay as you need to understand how the game works. Now I'm just going to go back to the table and I'm going to have a couple of words about what I think of it so far. Okay, so now that I've shown you how the game is played, it's time for me to tell you a little bit about what I think. I just want to say I really enjoyed the puzzle that this game presents. I felt because it only plays 1 card per turn, it actually keeps the pace of the game moving very quickly. It's also one of the very few minis games that I know that can be played in about ½ hour. I also found that the fact that position meant everything was actually a really fun tactical decision, because it meant that every single card I played had a direct effect on the actual battle itself. So I just want to say that I'm really grateful that Stonesaw Games decided to send me a prototype version of this game to test out, and I'm really excited to see it come to Kickstarter on October the 19th. If you like what you've seen here, please feel free to smash that subscribe button up there, and check out another one of my videos up here. Anyway, I've been Johnny, you've been watching The Hexy Beast. Thank you for watching, and stay Hexy everyone!